When enjoying a nice day out, having a flat tire can really throw a wrench in your plans. But knowing how to change a tire is simple. It's something that anyone can learn how to do, and something that should never ruin your day. In order to change a flat tire, you'll need to have a specific set of tools, and you need to follow a specific process when using those tools. The first tool that you'll need to make sure that you have is a jack, such as the scissor jack. Scissor jacks are easy to manufacture, and it's for that reason that they're typically included with your car when you buy one, and you'll most likely be able to find one in your trunk. The second tool that you'll need to have is a lug nut wrench. Lug nut wrenches come in various shapes and sizes, such as this L wrench. L wrenches are typically sold with your car and will be fitted for the exact size of lug nut that's already on your tires. A different kind of lug nut wrench is a cross or X wrench, with the main difference between the two wrenches being the shape. Some of the advantages of the cross or X wrench is that instead of being fitted towards only one size of lug nut, it's fitted to four. And it can also allow you to grab it at two places, which is better because that allows you to have a little bit wider leverage and a little bit more stability when trying to turn the lug nut. Some additional tools that you don't necessarily need, but are very handy to have, are an adjustable wrench and an electric air pump. Now that you have all your tools, you can begin to change your tire. If you notice your tires become flat by either your turning becoming very difficult or if you hear a loud pop, the first thing you want to do is remove yourself from the lane of traffic. Put on your hazard lights and put on your emergency brake. Now that you have all those things done, what you'll need to do is find the reinforced spots under your car, which is where the jack will go. Once you find the reinforced spots, which are typically located near the tires, you'll put the jack under the car at those spots, making sure that it's under level and even ground to prevent anything from slipping. Once the jack is in the right spot, you'll then begin to need to raise it. The way you do so, with a scissor jack such as this, is to take the hook, insert it in the hole at the end, and begin turning it. Turning a scissor jack like this can be tedious and take a while, which is why it's useful to have an adjustable wrench. What you can do with an adjustable wrench is fasten it on to the end of your hook like this, and use that as a handle to turn your jack even easier. This will allow you to raise your jack much quicker than you would be able to by turning it with your own hand. That will make the process of raising your jack, raising your car, and changing your tire go by much quicker and make everything go much smoother. Now, before you raise your jack and your tire all the way off the ground, what you want to do is take your lug nut wrench and making sure that you use the right size socket, insert it over your lug nut and turn it in a counterclockwise fashion and loosen the lug nut. Lug nuts are typically fastened on very tight, so it can be quite difficult to remove your lug nut, which is why you want to make sure you have a good firm grip on your wrench and that you're turning with a good amount of strength. If you still can't get the lug nut to turn, something you can try and do is to step on the wrench and use your own body weight as leverage. Once all the lug nuts are loose, you can then go back to your jack and raise the car and the tire so that it's now all the way off the ground. Once the tire is all the way off the ground, you can remove all the lug nuts, and then at that point you can remove the tire. Once the tire and all the lug nuts are removed, you can then get your spare tire, which is typically located in the trunk of your car. Once you have the spare tire, you can then put that on to where your old tire was before. And then using the lug nuts that you just removed, you will be using those to fasten and secure the new spare tire on to your car. The first thing you'll want to do is make sure that you're fastening on the lug nuts using only your fingers to get them finger tight, making sure that you don't use the lug nut wrench first. This is to make sure that you don't cross thread any of the lug nuts. Once you have all the lug nuts on, using only just your fingers, you'll then grab your lug nut wrench and use your lug nut wrench to fasten them all on in a cross pattern. What that means is instead of going from one lug nut to the lug nut directly next to it, you go from one lug nut to the lug nut directly across from it. This is to help your tire be secured on evenly. Once all your lug nuts are secured on in a cross pattern, what you'll then need to do is lower your car so that your tire is now touching the ground. You'll then come back to your lug nut wrench and, again, turning it. You'll then tighten all of your lug nuts as tight as you could possibly get them. This is the last time you'll be tightening your lug nuts, and this is why you want to make sure at this point you can get them as tight as you can. Once you have all of your lug nuts tightened, you'll be good to go. Something else that might be useful is if you notice your spare tire is low on air pressure, having an electric pump to make sure that you can pump up your spare tire to make sure it's at a good level is very handy. After you make sure that your spare tire is good, you can put all your tools away. And at that point, you can continue on with your day. You want to make sure that once you have your spare tire on, that you address the problem as soon as you can. Driving around with a spare tire isn't something you want to do for very long. So you want to make sure you get your tire replaced, and also, in the process, check the air pressure of all your tires. To summarize, in order to replace a flat tire, what you'll need to do is have a specific set of tools, and you'll need to make sure that you follow a specific process when using those tools. Now that you know how to replace a spare tire, now that you know how to fix a flat tire, you should be prepared to never let it ruin your day again.